All right. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I know the sound isn't working. You know what? Let's just quit. All right. I'll go and you guys can forget it. Let's just forget it. Okay. Bye. It's working now, right? It's working now. StreamYard is having issues. YouTube is having issues. Same thing just happened to Duty Ron when he went on to. So let's just all just take a step back and, relax. Thanks. There's no sound up on Law and Crime yet, so you haven't missed a thing. Yeah, I know it's working now. Thanks. There's no sound up. See, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. I know, but it's like everyone's yelling at me in the chat. It has to be refreshed. It's a thing. Jury was out for 4 hours yesterday. They went home at, I don't know, like 4 hours into their deliberations. They didn't even come back on to tell everyone they had gone home. There were 2 jury questions yesterday. One was, and they asked them at the same time. One was to ask for more paper. And the judge said, sure, you can have more paper, and then gave them more paper. And then the next question was, can somebody show us how to zoom in on the videos? And so the court said, I don't know how to zoom in on the videos. The judge said, does anybody? And then they sent someone in there to show the jury how to zoom in on the videos. My guess is that they wanted to zoom in on the videos. Yes, thank you, Gigi. The video of the person in the car who seemed to have hair. So that's what I think they wanted to know. They did not start deliberating this morning until 10:43 a.m. Pacific time. They were supposed to come back at 9 o'clock, but according to a reporter who's in the courtroom, who I suggest that you follow on Twitter, her name is Jaewon Young, or Jung. She said they did not resume deliberations until 10:43 a.m. this morning. So it's only, that'll be 12:43. No, that would be, in my math, plus 3, 1:43 East Coast time. So they've only been out for like a half an hour this morning. So they were out for 4 hours yesterday, half an hour this morning. Only 2% of you won the poll of how long jury deliberations would take. Because 50% said under 2 hours, 48% said between 2 and 4. We're now over 4. So only 2% of people got that right. So she did not say why. But I will give you her, if you want to follow her, if you are on Twitter, it is Jaewon, Jaewon, last name Young, Jung, and she is with KTNV, and she's in the courtroom and she's live tweeting. So that's how I get my information. She said that the jury deliberated yesterday from 1:49 p.m. to 5:56 p.m. and that they resumed deliberations 10:43 a.m. this morning. She said 23 minutes ago, we have another jury question. And she says 4 minutes ago, Tellus just walked into the courtroom. State and defense attorneys are present. We're waiting on the judge. And it looks like they're standing up. So perhaps the judge is coming in.
The record reflects that the hearing is taking place outside the presence of the jury panel. I have attorneys on both sides. Mr. Tellus is present. I got a note from the jury. It's been marked as court's exhibit number 25. Has a few questions. It says, can we get another laptop to review the digital evidence? So I'm assuming they want a second one. And so we have it. Okay, so I'm assuming there's no objection to the court having the court officer take back a second laptop. Okay. Then the next few questions are, the first one is, can we get the side-by-side walk comparison video from the closing statement? Obviously, the closing statement is not evidence. Then the next question is, could we get the exhibit number for the Jeff Gehrman news article videos about Mr. Tellus? I believe that's in evidence.
It is in evidence.
They want to know the exhibit number, though.
The lowest number flash drive is that.
I just want the parties to agree before I answer.
I'm not positive, but that's what I think is on the lowest number. Courts.
Do you want to approach and look at the exhibit list?
Yes. flash drive, Judge.
All right, if you're just tuning in, hello, good afternoon, or good morning if you are on the West Coast, or good evening if you're across the pond. Jury has come back with 3 questions. They want another laptop. Maybe they only have one laptop in the jury room, and there are 12 of them, so it's hard for them to all look at evidence on one laptop. Court said, okay, we can give them another laptop. The second thing they asked for is the side-by-side video that was shown in closing by the prosecution of the perpetrator in the surveillance video walking and the, as such, Rob Tellis, defendant walking in his office. They want that side-by-side video. The judge said that's not evidence because it was shown in closing. So I don't think she's going to give them that. And then they asked for the exhibit number for the Jeff Gehrman article videos, I think they said. So that is where we are. We'll see what's going to happen. It seems like the jury is nowhere near done at this point. They're going to, there's a lot of stuff for them to go through, and it's good that they're taking their job seriously. And it's just taking longer, I think, than any of us thought it would take, which is why it's a little bit disconcerting, because it's making me think, like, was he really framed? Right? Was he really framed? Like, is that video of whoever that person is in that seemingly similar Denali to Boss Baby? Is that somebody else? Did that person have hair? Is that really the person who killed Jeff Gehrman? I mean, you know that sometimes DNA does not lie, Melissa. Thank you. Thanks for talking me down. Because I feel like we're being like we think we're crazy again. But Boss Baby doesn't look as angry as usual. Because I guess he thinks this is favorable to him, which in a way it kind of is. Yeah, I should do that, but I don't have time to make a sign. So me saying 1 minute, I'm figuring it out. Should be enough, but not a cupcake. Can't make everyone happy. Yeah, good for them being thorough, KT. Good for them being thorough. Melissa Crawford says, if I'm ever in a situation I have to be in front of a trial or on trial, I will go with a bench trial. I have no faith in juries any longer. Their sound is not up, so you are not deaf. Carol said, I did wonder why the prosecution did not present that piece of evidence and only in the closing. Why would they have not been able to bring that in my opinion, they could have. Did they not show that during the trial? Did they only show the side-by-side in closing? And even if they don't show them the side-by-side, the jury themselves can put, if they have 2 laptops, right? They can put up the video of him walking in his office. That's one exhibit on one laptop. And they can put the video of him, of the perpetrator, walking on the other laptop, and they can still look at them side by side. So that's a good question. Hi, Charity. West Coast in the house. How's your weather? Is your weather nice? LA says nearly all juries except Wilson since Karen Reed have been disappointing me. What is happening? Ruth is worried that it's going to end up a hung jury. There's some reporters sitting behind him in the orange dress. I'm not sure of her name, but I know she's a Las Vegas local. And then there was Matt from Court TV. Carrie has lost faith in our jury system. Well, listen, they're taking it seriously, though, right? So don't lose faith. They're taking it seriously. They have a lot of evidence to go over. And there are 12 of them on the jury, not like 6 in Ashley Benefield. So remember that, too.
Instruction number, what I say?
33.
Okay, it should be instruction number 33. And then please refer to instruction number 25.
Market.
Okay, if you want to approach and see it, and this is what I'll have the court officer sign it.
So it's interesting how they don't bring the jury back in for her to tell them what their answer is. It's kind of like they send them a note back. Every jurisdiction is different. Second time she's been wearing orange. Here's Matthew's shirt. Is that you have your eye on that?
A copy of this will be marked as court's exhibit number 26 as well. And maybe stay close by.
Can I take that exhibit and Judge? Thank you.
Yes. Do we have the other
Do you want to sign one of these that I'm in work?
Yeah. Do we have the other?
Yep, I'll carry that back.
If you're just tuning in, the jury has more questions. They've asked for a second laptop, which they are going to get. They've asked for a copy of the video that was shown in prosecution's closing of the side-by-side walking of the perp and Robert Tellis in his office. Judge said, no, that's not evidence, what was shown in closing. And then they've asked for the exhibit number to the Jeff Gehrman article videos, which they are going to get. And they sent a note back to the jury. They don't call them in, which is interesting. So let's see. It is currently 11:33 a.m. in Las Vegas. What time do they usually have lunch? Around 12? And in other news, since we're talking about this reporter, let's pull up her post. In other news, because this is interesting. We've been talking about this during this trial. Remember the defendant who attacked the judge, the other judge that happens to sit in the same courtroom as this judge? Well, let's look at the video to refresh your recollection, because this was on January 3rd of 2024. Do you remember this? Hang on.
Hey, whoa, 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 hey, 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 whoa, 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 hey,
It's on a loop. Well, that was in the same courthouse as they are in right now for the Robert Tellis trial. That was Judge Mary Kay. What is the judge's name? It's hard to read on this placard. Mary Kay. I can't read it. Maybe some of you in the chat know, because some of you are from Vegas. However, that trial is happening tomorrow. Or I guess, wait, in other news, Deobra Redden, Deobra is the defendant's name, Redden, Redden, the man who was caught on camera attacking the judge, is going on trial starting Tuesday. So maybe that's next Tuesday. This was posted by this reporter 2 hours ago. The state has 10 to 15 witnesses in that case, and the defense has 2 witnesses. So that's interesting. I don't know if that well, today, isn't today Tuesday? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, so I got to assume she's meeting next Tuesday, right? I don't know if it'll be broadcast, but I mean, hey, that would be a fun one to watch. Jury won't convict. He has hair in that video. I don't know. So Boss Baby can't leap like that. You know, maybe that's the reason why he has to be escorted to the stand before the jury even comes in, because that happened in the same courthouse by that other defendant, and another judge was attacked. I mean, maybe that's just why. Sentencing for Wade Wilson. Hey, Olivia. The jury asked for a second laptop, which they were granted. They also asked for a side-by-side video shown in closing of the perp walking next to Tellis, walking in his office. Judge said no, because that is not evidence, because it was in closing. And then they asked for the exhibit number of Jeff Gehrman's article videos, which they were given. And they sent a note back. And that's what happened. They only started deliberating this morning at 10:43 a.m. So they've only been deliberating less than an hour today. And they deliberated for a little over 4 hours yesterday before they were sent home. Is the Wilson sentencing happening right now as we speak? Oh, Wade Wilson will be back at 4 p.m. to finish the sentencing. 4 p.m. New York time. That's what I thought too. They didn't want to see the jury. They didn't want the jury to see him walking to the stand, but I don't understand why not. Sherry says, Boss Baby can't leap, but Wade Wilson can. Yes, thank you, Dee. Thank you, Wendy. Got it all straightened out. It's a StreamYard issue. Kim O'Brien says, if this ends hung, I'm not watching any more trials. You guys say that every time. You guys said that after Karen Reed. You said it after. But you know you are. And hopefully it's going to be, and that's why I picked this trial, because I thought at least perhaps we could see justice in this trial. But the jury's taking their time. And look, there's a lot of evidence to go through. There could be one or two holdouts. And remember, it's a 12-person jury. It's not like Ashley Benefield, where it was a 6-person jury. David says 6'5" Tellis could clear the bench. 5'6" Tejas can't do it. Yeah. Right, David. Thanks for the 5. For those of you who didn't watch Hidden True Crime, Dr. John and Lauren did a great show the other night. She's going to come on with me when she's back from traveling. She's doing the Corey Richens hearings now in Park City, Utah. But he had something really interesting to say about Tejas and Tellis, and he said that maybe in his mind he's, distancing himself from this crime by saying, oh, well, Robert Tejas never could have committed this crime, but Robert Tellis, he could. I just thought that was so interesting. Why would people think he's innocent? Well, in closing, the defense showed a zoomed in video of the perpetrator who was in the Denali leaving the scene, right? And it looked like the guy has hair, or so the prosecution argued. Maybe that's what they're holding up on. That's why they asked last night if they could have more paper, and also if they could learn how to zoom in on the videos, and they sent a tech person in there to teach them how to do it. So it's interesting. Jenny Grace is still upset about Ashley, thinks about her a lot. Oh, thanks, Christy. Wade's statements have been heard. The judge is going back to decide his sentence. All right. And they're not coming back for an hour and a half. All right. People are saying it was a hoodie or a wig. Do I have that video? You know what? We can pull it up. We can pull it up from the closing. Let's do that. But it's like hard to zoom into. So let's see. I'll show you what they're talking about if some of you are new and you haven't seen it, or you didn't watch the closings, because the closings were great. They were really great. If you missed it, go back later and watch that show. But let's see. Where is it? For those of you who were not here this morning, I did a whole stream on the Karen Reed, the civil case that the O'Keefes just filed against Karen Reed and the Waterfall and CF McCarthy's. And I have some interesting thoughts on that. So I suggest that you go watch it when you can. Not right now, but maybe later. All right, let's see. It was during a rebuttal. No, it was during the defense's closing, right? Yeah, hold on. Okay, hold on. All right. Let's watch it again. We're here for it. We're already on, so let's watch it. This is what may be confusing them, in my humble opinion. This is part of Draskovich's closing from yesterday.
The timing, you recall there was an issue concerning the timing. This was channel 3, all right? This is State's Exhibit 372. You have that. You'll be given a laptop. Look at this. This was an image that was not part of his presentation to you at his testimony and during his testimony. This laptop has the ability to pause. It has the ability to zoom. Watch this.
All right, here it is. Watch this. I'm going to full screen this for you so you can see it
We're going to slow this down now.
better. So I'll get off the screen. Don't worry, I'm not leaving, and I did not swipe myself out.
You have this evidence. It wasn't part of his presentation, but it's been provided to you. Look at the profile. What's that look like on the top of the head? I'd submit to you that looks like hair. We've seen Mr. Tellis. He gave testimony from the witness stand. Does that profile match the profile in that vehicle?
This is why the jury wants to be able to zoom in, because maybe they're like, huh, does that guy have hair? Is it a hoodie? Is it a wig? Is it a hat? And then he goes on to say that he has glasses on. So listen.
I mean, it's no secret. The man's bald. Look at the face. Look at the eyes. I submit to you that those look like glasses. And again, this is part of the evidence collected by the state. It's been presented to you. It wasn't addressed during their case in chief, and it wasn't explained by Detective Cliff Mogg. I'd submit to you, look at that image. There's hair. There's glasses. Now, the state in rebuttal, and we'll address the significance of that, they have the opportunity to come and address what I've presented to you, but that's undeniable. What I'm going to show you next is...
And they don't address it in rebuttal, correct? I don't think they addressed it in rebuttal. I don't think he did. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Genio. Thank you, Genio. I didn't really think about it until today, but then I was like, yeah, he didn't address that in rebuttal. And he was typing up other slides during, right? Because other slides during the closing of the defense, because when he got up there, Hamner, he had brand new slides about defense's closing argument. So he could have, but he didn't. And Donovan says, I'd submit to you, it could still be him. Yeah. But does it raise reasonable doubt for a juror? I don't know. Let's listen. We might as well listen to him go on a little bit while we're here.
Is the image on channel 2. That's the same video coverage, but now it has the vehicle coming from a different direction. It's parked. Do you remember the testimony from Mr. Martinez? I think it was John Martinez. Of no significance. It was fairly unmemorable on that date. He said he saw the person. Nothing caught his attention because nothing was memorable. There's no talk of a disguise. Glasses, nothing.
There's
It's
no
blank.
talk of a disguise because he was dressed in the same way that those sewer workers were dressed in. So maybe he didn't have the hat on. Tanny says that I think he did address it. He said the jury could make the decision if that's the case. Yeah. But then Carol says, no, they did not address it. Mike's like, what about the DNA? We don't believe in DNA anymore? Yep. Yeah. Good point.
Nothing was memorable. Take a look. Oh, hang on.
I know the car does look different, right, Robin? I thought so too. Paul says, I thought it was, well, that is tinted. He just flashed it again. look tinted. Only the rear windows are tinted. Cam Robinson says, I just zoomed it in 4 times. It looks like a hoodie that's poofed up above his head. He was wearing sunglasses. Blessed mom from Texas, like, this guy's guilty. Danielle says it raises doubt, but with all the other evidence, I just don't see it.
That's Mr. Martinez that I discussed. Look at this image.
Well, the rims are the same. Could be a hoodie. Could be a backwards baseball cap. Turn to the side, Telly. Turn to the side so we can see your profile.
We have 2 captures from 2 different angles. The profile does not match the profile of Mr. Tellis.
An orange shirt on, though, but the orange shirt seems to be short sleeve, doesn't it?
It's not open to dispute. You know, you've heard testimony, and you heard it primarily through Mr. Tellis. You heard it from Nicole Lofton. Mr. Tellis was fairly concerned about the goings-on with Compass Realty in relation to errors.
You guys in the chat are arguing. Some people think it's hair. Some people think it's
to the tramp.
Some people think it's hair. Some people think it's a hat. Some people think it's a hoodie. But as Michael J.M. says, all it takes is reasonable doubt for one juror to be like, if that's the perp, that perp has hair, and that perp's not him. Oh, my freeze game is on point again. How did the prosecution not prepare for this? Good point, Olivia. I don't know. Did they not ever zoom in on that video? Oh, True Crime Addict says, has anyone ever seen a hat with fake hair coming out? That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, they do have those like baseball caps with the fake hair on them. Janice, why couldn't they get a license plate from one of the houses? The front license plate was taken off and it was put back on. And apparently in Nevada, I think you are required to have 2 plates, but in this case, when the person went into that neighborhood, they took off the front plate. Then when it got home, it had the front plate back on it again, right? Why was video allowed in closing if it wasn't presented as evidence? Thanks, Mel. It was as evidence. Are you talking about the side-by-side video? It was presented in evidence as 2 separate clips, but it was not put together until the closing. So the jury's not allowed to get that clip that was side-by-side, but they can pull up one video on one laptop, the other video on the other laptop, and then put them next to each other to view them side-by-side. So they can do that, but both of those videos are in evidence, just not in that format. Gary's like, if that's hair, it's like Lego Man hair. Not Sir Ray Davies is like, you can see a gray hoodie. I can't, there's no way for me to zoom in on it because it was already full screen. So I can't do that. Ashy Snow says, I'm 100% Hamner addresses it in rebuttal. I rewatched it yesterday after the jury question. I'm concerned that how Hamner addressed it in rebuttal is the problem. All right, well, let's go to the rebuttal then, shall we? See if we can scrub it. If anybody has a timestamp on it, that would really help. Okay, wait, hold on. If he shows the video, maybe that would help me find it. Or you know what? Maybe he talks about it when he does that slide about the defense closing. Let me see. He hammered it home yesterday, didn't he? Why not let him die in the tub? Where are you? Let's see. It's going to be tough for me to find without having a timestamp and just scrubbing through it. Anton says reasonable doubt. I had that with Murdoch and I would have found him not guilty, not because I think he had nothing to do with it, but because I think the state failed to prove case beyond a reasonable doubt. Really, in Murdoch? I think that Snapchat video at the kennels was his downfall, in my opinion. Let's see if we can find this. Okay, the other here's where he addresses it right here. Let's see. Found it. Look at me. Woohoo. All right, listen.
We would have wanted it. And then there was the video that they showed of this other car, right, with someone presumably with hair and glasses. The state would encourage you, by all means, go compare it to the rest of the videos. Compare it to the rest of the videos. And compare it with all the other evidence. And then you get to weigh it. Because we did hear from Mr. Martinez. What did he also say was going on in that neighborhood? There was a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour construction project where they're repairing a sewer line. I asked Mr. Martinez, what did you guys wear? We wore orange things, right?
Okay, so he's saying that other car. So he's almost admitting in this rebuttal that he doesn't think that that is Telly's car. Right? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. He says this other car. He said Martinez said that's what we wore during this project. So he's insinuating in his closing, I think, that isn't Telly's car. So let's listen to that again.
If there was a camera that was working, that was closer to his house, they would have gotten it. And we would have wanted it.
It's right here.
And then there was the video that they showed of this other car, right, with someone presumably with hair and glasses.
Other car.
The state would encourage you, by all means, go compare it to the rest of the videos. Compare it to the rest of the videos. And compare it with all the other evidence. And then you get to weigh it. Because we did hear from Mr. Martinez. What did he also say was going on in that neighborhood? There was a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour construction project where they're repairing a sewer line. I asked Mr. Martinez, what did you guys wear? We wore orange things, right? And in that video of that car, there's someone in an orange thing. Is it possible that that's one of the workers from the sewage project?
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to be coming down the road in that first video. He's coming from the road where Mr. Martinez said he was waving people off. Remember? Martinez said, I saw that when we saw the first video, right, of the car approaching and the white truck pulls up, he said he was going out there to tell that person, you can't come down this other way. And the video that the defense shows you shows a car coming from that other way. And if we marry the testimony of Mr. Martinez, the state would submit that's the construction area. In all likelihood, that's just another worker. But
he's saying in all likelihood, that's just another worker. He's admitting in this part of his rebuttal that he does not think that was the perpetrator. He does not think that was Tellis. He thinks it was another worker with a similar car. But it looks like the same rims to me. So now I'm confused too. Let's say you. Let's listen to more.
you get to weigh it. You get to weigh it with everything else. Then there's this argument about Jabney mysteriously inserting himself in the homicide event. Really? Is that the testimony? Detective Jabney told us that he had to attend the Metro briefing that night. Why? It makes sense. He's literally a detective that's working on an investigation.
So there you go. Let's say you. David says 6'5" Tellis his hair. 5'6" Tellez is bald, right? I think we covered that. Oh, thanks, Caveman, for the 5. I went and tried to watch the testimony of the witnesses and Karen Reed. A few of them said she wasn't drunk. Chris Albert, the bartender, and some of John's buzz. Yeah. Nobody on the stand said that she was drunk or that she appeared visibly intoxicated. Nobody did. David says, thanks for the 5, that shouldn't be considered as evidence because it didn't come in by witness testimony. Well, you're right about that. It's not considered. What is in the closing is not considered evidence. Danny, I think he did address, he said the jury can make the decision if that's the case. Yeah, I think what he insinuated was that that's somebody else. Kimmy, that vehicle is red. Tell us, is maroon. Thank you, Kimmy. Tanny says, regarding Murdoch, me too. I couldn't get beyond the lack of blood evidence after such a gruesome scene was described. None in car, house, or drains. Well, I have questions in that case about Kober, but we'll get to that when we get to that. That trial's not going to be happening for a whole nother year, I think, until all the way 2025, June 2025. Darren Reed, thank you. We watched this too, or I actually linked it in the pretrial videos. 48 hours episode of this from 6 months earlier. Convinced this bully Tellis Ortez is guilty. They have the side-by-side walking video on that. Yep. It was in the closing, but the jury is going to have to put them side by side themselves. Deborah Lee said that vehicle doesn't look large enough to be a Denali. Also, Tejas doesn't act like that video is a big deal. Paula B says, yeah, I agree. I don't think that's the same car, and I think he's alluding to that in his closing. Thank you. Otherwise, I'm really going crazy. Laura said he shouldn't have said that because during the trial, they said it was him. Now he's saying that it isn't. But is that the same video they showed during that worker's testimony where the worker said he didn't really notice anything about the guy in the car? Because, yeah, it is confusing, right? Wizard of Ego says he sounded desperate in the rebuttal, stuttering and stammering, floundering. I don't know. I thought it was a really good rebuttal. But now I just wanted to go back to that and see if he addressed it. And he did address it. I believe. Question. BP19, thank you. When did Gehrman interview Taya? Tell us. I'm calling him Tellis. I don't care. I'm gonna call X Twitter forever. So sue me. When did Gehrman interview Tellis? If close to the murder, possible DNA transfer with a handshake. Also, killer is fully clothed. If Gehrman scratched the killer, Tellis would have had scratches on his face. Not necessarily. He could have scratched him. Remember, he also got on the stand and said that he heals really quickly. And he wasn't photographed until something like 5 days later. So I think he interviewed him something like in May of 2022. So it was something like 4 months, at least 3 or 4 months prior to the murder. So I don't think the DNA would stick around that long. And I'm sure he washed his hands and scrubbed his nails pretty well since then. So there's that. LA says, when I enhance the images, the two different pictures don't even appear to be the same person. One's shorter and thinner, different hairline, curly versus straight hair. Ames says it's an obvious disguise. Higher Truth Art said, what are the odds it was another car? Well, there's 67 Denali's in the county or in the surrounding area that are that color, right? Didn't they point that out sometimes during the trial? Laura says, those rooms were an option that could fit that car, probably the cheapest, maybe from Walmart. Oh, yeah. Or Ross or Marshall's, right? I don't know what that means. You emailed me, Alice. Alice, what Alice? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, and I can't really check my email while I'm streaming right now, but I will take a look later. Thank you. Somebody said, OMG, it's a hoodie and a mask. Wait, where did that comment go? Coburg, oh yeah, another one with a lot of holes and right. I don't think that will start anywhere until at least summer, early fall. Like, where's all the blood there? Like, that was a really, really, really bloody scene, right? Not a drop of blood. I don't know. That just And also there's that unknown DNA that they never tested. Unknown male DNA found near the bodies. That was never tested. I find that to be interesting. LA says, yes, I even enhanced the two. Oh, didn't we want to tell our fathers? We just covered that. Right. Terry says, outside scenes don't leave a lot of blood. Or I need suspect. I don't know what that is. Patty says the DNA under Gehrman's fingers is undeniable. That is true. I agree with you. And I don't know what the jury's hung up on. But they will get another laptop. Let me see if we have any more recent postings regarding what's happening. Otherwise, we will wrap for now and come back when there's a verdict. They went back in. They've now been deliberating in total a little over 5 hours. Who knows when it'll be, but we'll be here. We'll come back for it. So be on the lookout. Bolo. Thank you, Jody Arrington, for the 10. There's a confusing issue regarding the car. However, they need to look at all the other evidence, which is pretty strong. Perhaps the defense has presented some reasonable doubt with that issue. Perhaps. We'll see. It's going to take a jury of 12 a lot longer to deliberate than a jury of 6. So there's that as well. So keep an eye out. Thank you, Jody, for your super chat. We'll come back when there's a verdict and just go live. So, be ready for it. Set the notifications. Thanks, mods, for keeping it classy and all. But we'll come back as soon as the verdict is in. Could be today, could be tomorrow. We don't really know. Try to keep you posted with regard to a community post like I did last night to tell you that the jury was going home. So we will see. But in the meantime, be cool, be kind, be classy. Thank you. Please hit the like button because, it's really so easy to do, right? So easy to do. And it really helps the channel. And that would be so awesome of you. So please do that. I would appreciate that so very much. And I'll see you later. Peace. Enjoy the sunshine till we meet again.